So we've returned to the Tern Valley business park here on the outskirts of Market Drayton. We were last here a couple of years ago, and to be honest, I can't believe how much has happened since then. And John Gwilym, well, you wear two different hats, don't you, here? We spoke a couple of years ago. Just remind us of your roles.
Well, I'm MD of Red Start Construction, and Red Start are the main developer here, and Matrix is our contracting company, and Matrix do all the work for Red Start Construction.
Makes the board meetings a bit quicker, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it's only me.
So, yeah, exactly. And I mean, the evolution of this site, it goes back, well, nearly 10 years it originally started, maybe more.
A little bit more than that, Carl. We've started here with Cranage, and they were on their own in a field for a few years. Then we made the mistake of developing at the rear of Cranage, and a lot of people didn't know we were here. So as it evolved and we sold a few units at a time, we built a few more, we sold a few more, we moved on then to getting up towards 2020 when COVID hit, and the whole thing went mad. And since it started, there's over 110 units on here now.
And am I right in saying pretty much as soon as you build them, they're occupied, aren't they?
They are, and there's a waiting list. If we could have another 5 acres next door, we'd sell those as well.
Is that an option?
No.
So are all the units you can build now pretty much built?
They're all done. The last 8 I'm finishing, they'll be done in about 4 weeks' time, and everyone will be occupied within a very short space of time.
What's the secret of the success of this place then, and what kind of mix of businesses have we got here now?
There's a whole mix really, right from homemade dog foods through to a nursery school, through to high-tech companies such as Cranage, through to people who build sports cars and race cars and sell them on to wealthy clients.
Excellent, which is great, isn't it?
Absolutely. So there's a whole mix, and it's a really nice community, and I think that's the success. It is a lovely community to work at.
And Mark Jones with Shropshire, wearing your Shropshire Council hat, yes. Portfolio holder for economic development and growth, to see this happening and creating jobs and a vibrant atmosphere, I mean, it must be absolutely perfect from your
I think it's a blueprint for what we're going to try and do in the rest of Shropshire. I mean, Shropshire is very much open for business, and we're trying to help businesses come to Shropshire. And I think the other thing that John's done is the excellent design. It's a really lovely park, and I think he's created a community here, which I think is quite essential. And together with creating roughly 320 jobs here, it's fantastic. And we've got a site in Oswestry coming up soon, and we're hoping to do something similar there.
How important is it that we see these kind of developments in some of the market towns around Shropshire, and it's not all centralised around places like Shrewsbury then?
Yeah, I think that is part of our remit, is to not be Shrewsbury centric, and to bring everything into the rural areas. There are rural spots that are declining, and we need to get them back up to scratch. Certainly Market Drayton is doing very well, obviously Oswestry, and then we need to try and work down in the south of the area too. Craven Arms is very much crying out for something similar as well. Just getting the infrastructure ready to do that is one of the biggest,
which sometimes takes time, doesn't
yes.
it? Yeah. And John, I mean, I've been to a fair few business parks and industrial estates over my career. This one looks different. It looks the style, the colour of the units. What? Just can you pinpoint what you've done differently here?
Well, it's a bit funky, and it's a bit stealthy, and people come here not expecting it to be like it is, and it's quite open. If you look at the distance between that unit and the one across the road, there's a lot of space, there's a lot of greenery, and it feels fresh, and you can breathe as you walk through it, I've been told.
Have a lot of the clients that you've got here given you an idea of what they want for their units before you build them, or are they buying them off plan?
They buy them off plan. We build them in multiples of 1,000 square feet. So if we build a series of 7, a client will have a choice of either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 7,000 square feet, and we don't put the walls in the middle until they decide what they want.
Right. So, and I get that's obviously paid off.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
And Mark, going forward then, economic development challenges for Shropshire as we start looking ahead to 2024. But where are we at? How are we looking?
We're looking good. We've got Oswestry Innovation Park, which is going to be a key one to try and get going. I think, as we said, Craven Arms is one of the next targeted areas that we want to try and get a bit more housing and business down in the south of the community as well. I think they're crying out for it, and we need that demand sorted. I think Bridge North is on the uprise as well. So we're trying to work with them to see what we can do as well. So
brilliant. Well, we're going to go and have an explore and meet some of your occupiers.
Excellent.
Thanks for your time, Jeff.
Have a good day.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, when it comes to soundproofing rooms to film in, they don't come much better than this, do they? I'm with Keith Richards now, Managing Director of Cranage EMC Testing, one of the largest units and longest established units on the estate. Keith, before we talk about your business, just tell us a bit about this room we're in here.
Okay, well, this environment here is a test chamber. It's called a semi-anechoic test chamber, and it basically is calibrated to absorb radio frequencies, so that whatever we're measuring in here from electronic equipment in particular, then the frequencies will be captured and quantified precisely. So the environment to do that is quite expensive to set up. And it's a very precise technical instrument.
So are you testing products in here then that would yet to be unveiled on the market to make sure they're fit for purpose then? Is that the plan?
Usually, before products get onto the market, companies like ourselves will be involved to evaluate them for performance and whether they would comply with regulatory requirements, not just for the UK, but for European markets and global markets, in fact.
So what sort of things do you test then? Is it do you recreate climatic conditions or heat or light or?
Yeah, well, all those things, all the above. This particular one establishes a stable electromagnetic environment, so we can make the measurements of emissions. We can also generate disturbances in here to bombard the equipment and evaluate the performance of that equipment under those conditions. But we also have, within the building, we've got environmental chambers to assess the effects of temperature, pressure, humidity, vibration, altitude, and impact of solar radiation, for example, because that can have additional heating effects on products, which could potentially affect the reliability. So we've got a lot of other aspects, and we generally work in chambers which are set up for specific jobs.
I could have a role here then, because I'm quite good at creating disturbances, to be honest.
Well,
not that sort of disturbance, presumably. now listen, I don't want to get you into trouble by naming names, but can you just give us a flavour of some of the kind of products or industries or businesses that would use this facility then?
Yeah, well, we're not, we're restricted to saying who they are, because the brand names are, some of them are, well known. But vacuum cleaners we're heavily into, whether that's for household or commercial or industrial vacuum cleaners, not just the ones you pull around the house, but the ones that you would sit on, potentially at the airports. But product-wise, it's not just the household appliance market, it's the medical equipment market, which some of the medical equipment is finding its way into home use. But we have evaluated products which find their way into the operating theatres. And then also industrial markets, food processing equipment, X-raying equipment that would be searching for foreign objects placed inside the food. So these require quite a deep technical understanding and precise facilities to evaluate them.
And some of them, how long would you typically be evaluating some of these things for? How long would they be on site with you for?
Well, a lot of the time it depends on exactly what the customer wants to do. Some of them just ask for a few hours or half a day, but in the main, typical program could be 2 or 3 days to several weeks.
What's the most exciting thing or unusual thing you've maybe tested in?
Oh my goodness, exciting things. They're all exciting, really. It's not particular any one particular thing. It's just the knowledge that this product has not seen the light of day yet as far as the market's concerned. So it's, for us as engineers, it's very exciting to be involved in that way.
So that's your background as an engineer. What's the history of the business then? When did you form it and where and why?
Okay, we started to form it when I was actually engaged as an engineer in Lancashire for many years of my life, design engineer from graduating, and then moved on to establishing a test bed once I'd realised that every design engineer in the country, when we enter the European Union, has got a massive challenge on their hands, and that is to how to deal with these regulations which effectively break down barriers to trade. So our stall really became set out to deal with that market. And we've been going now for 31 years.
And how long, because you were one of the first occupants of what is now the Tern Valley Business Park, you've seen the whole thing grow around you, really, haven't you?
That's correct. We came to site almost out of necessity. We'd reached a point from working from farm buildings locally to we needed to expand and improve the quality of what we were doing, and so from around about the middle of 2013 we approached the developers of the estate and discussed our needs, and by December 2013 we had plans in with Shropshire County Council, and then came September 2014, the steelwork was already being bolted together, so we were firmly putting our roots in Market Drayton.
So nearly 10 years on from that then, Keith, have you still got room to grow here then? Are you full to capacity? Or?
Not full to capacity. Fortunately, when we bought the when we saw the estate, we purchased 1 acre from the developers, realising we only needed a half an acre, so we had to pull out all the money stops to actually get that extra that we didn't quite need at that time. But now
you're glad you did.
Glad we did, because we've already expanded onto another quarter of it, and we've got a quarter left and plans for that.
And Market Drayton a good place for you?
Fantastic. I would say that if Market Drayton had a technical college, it would be even better.
Never say never.
Never say never, exactly.
Fascinating business. Thanks for your time. Great to catch up with you.
You're welcome. Thanks,
Keith. Thanks a lot. So here we are now at Tern Valley Day Nursery. Now this wasn't built last time we came up here for SBLTV. It had just gone through the planning stages, but is now a thriving nursery. And Deborah's one of the directors here. This is your second site, isn't it? So
it is.
Wellington being your other one?
That's correct.
Why Market Drayton then?
It's my hometown. We moved here 25 years ago, my husband, myself and my 4 children. And we set up our first nursery in Wellington in Telford because the site was right over there. Felt that Market Drayton, really with the amount of houses and the building projects going around, could really do with a nursery, another nursery within the environment. And because of the way that we had designed our previous nursery, we wanted to do something a little bit different to what's already here. And so we went on to planning and looked at producing this one.
So what is different then here about it?
Compared to the other nurseries? I think the other nurseries are well established within the area, so they've been going for quite a few years. We themed our first nursery and we themed this one. We looked at taking everything very mod cons all the way through, and we've got a massive designated sensory room. So we've identified that the amount of children that have got special educational needs now are slightly a little bit behind on their development, that we wanted to help with that. Our nursery in Wellington has been noticed for dealing with special educational needs, and we're hoping that this one becomes the same.
So give me an idea of the size and the scale of this place then.
Okay, so we've got 2 designated baby rooms downstairs with their own full fitted kitchen. We've then got a Rumpelstiltskin room, which is for our preschool children. Another toddler room, which is our Puss in Boots room. So everything is themed on Shrek. We've then got upstairs a full catering kitchen, so all the food is cooked fresh on site. And then a further 3 school classrooms upstairs, and plus a very large sensory room.
And does the fact that the business estate itself has grown so much, even in the time since you opened, helped from a business point of view? Because you've got lots of potential clients right on the doorstep here.
Absolutely, but when we first decided to go ahead with building a nursery during the pandemic, we looked at what site we wanted within here, because there was only actually a very few buildings that had been completed at the top there, and we chose this spot. So we were then starting build. We were very lonely down here all on our own, and then gradually the whole park has just started to develop. So yeah, we have got some children from different businesses here, but also we like the support that we can give them as well.
How easy is it to run a business like yours at the moment? Because there's lots of social challenges in the world at the moment, which I guess you're exposed to a lot of families. who will tell you about, you know, what they're going through at the moment.
Absolutely. We are hoping that it has just been released by the council now that we've got the 2-year-old additional funding coming in for next year, which should help a lot of those families now that they will be able to obtain that. And that will be extended, and they'll have 1,140 hours come next year. So, no, it's a slower process, but it's something that is massively going to help. We try and do everything that we can, really, for all of those families, different ways of using their funding and helping them out, but also making sure that the children get a 2-course cooked meal every single day, which is a massive help to these parents.
And talking of doing all that you can, I know that you are one of the leading lights involved with some of the fundraising activities that are going on. You mentioned you've got lots of friends locally now. Tell us about some of the fundraising work you're doing.
Okay, well, the biggest one at the moment, and we want as many people on board as we possibly can, is we want to get a defibrillator for the actual whole park. So we're not just talking about for nursery use, but for the park itself. At the moment, we're on track to raise enough for one. We're hoping we can go for 2. So we can have one at the top end of the business park, one down at the bottom end of the business park, and that means that everybody can absolutely access it. John, who is part of Matrix, who built the park, has agreed to not only site it for us, but also to help donate. So a lot of people are getting involved with this.
So if businesses want to know more about it or donate or speak to you about it in any way, what do they do?
Go onto the business page that we've already got set up. We're live on Facebook. It's all on there. We've put all the links on. So just hit Tern Valley Day Nursery, go onto there. You'll see the link. And yes, please donate.
Brilliant. Great to catch up with you. Thanks for your time.
You're more than welcome.
So our final port of call is Nexus Fitness, and I'm joined now by Katie, the owner. Hello.
Yep.
This is the calm before the storm, is it? So the evening rush is about to start.
Very much so, yes. Yeah.
How seasonal and how different is your timetable from one day to the next?
Well, to be honest with you, we're not sure yet. So we've been open for just over 12 months, and we've been very much like this. Well, like this since we started. So we're not sure. But evenings and mornings are our busy time.
So what was the thinking about why you wanted to open here and why now?
So off the back of COVID, our mission is physical health, obviously, but mental health and bringing people together. So we wanted to find like a central location where Market Drayton people could come, get fit together, and it all sort of puzzle pieces fitted together exactly the right time. We found this at the right time.
And I'm presuming this is your background, your career before this, is it?
Well, I've got a degree in graphic design.
No, then, okay.
And that was my first path. So so probably about 5 years. 5 years I've been doing this for.
And how's it gone? I mean, I know you say early days at the moment, but
so much better than we ever planned, forecasted for. So many friendly members. We couldn't have picked a better bunch of members to join us. Can't believe how well we're going to start off with.
Did you come here then because you knew how the estate here was growing, or are you looking at the wider Market Drayton area then for your customers?
A little bit of both, really. Because I'm Market Drayton through and through, we've been watching the development since the very, very start, since way back at the very start. And then looking for places. We couldn't find anything. These cropped up at the perfect time. Just all came together.
And what about the workforce here then? Is it self-employed people? Is it employed? Is it a mixture?
We've got a bunch of self-employed coaches. They all work for themselves. One of them's my mum, so she was roped in. In the future, we hope to bring in, these are all Market Drayton local people, we hope to bring in a little bit wider in the future.
Excellent. And in general terms, what's the industry like at the moment? You know, we've been through, as I was saying to one of the previous occupants, been a strange old time these last few years. How has that affected this industry?
I think very, very much, going back to the back of COVID, everybody was on their own, getting fit in their living rooms, in their kitchens, in front of a screen, and now we're all coming together. It's the community that's building. It's the community that brings people here and keeps them here.
And there's obviously quite a community feel on the estate from talking to some people here today. There's fundraising activities going. Do you know a lot of the neighbours?
Yes. Yeah, in fact, when we first moved in, we did our first aid training with some of the local girls just across the road. We didn't know them before, but we came together, had our first aid training together. So it's very, very much community-based.
Excellent. What are the plans going forward then?
Without giving too much away.
Go on, give me everything.
So in terms of our client base, we're hoping to expand a little bit. So we're hoping to pull in clients from further afield now that we're established. And in terms of staffing, we're hoping to look a little bit further afield, perhaps bring in some apprentices and go from that side.
Excellent. Well, I better let you get ready for the evening rush. So,
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you. Thanks
Nice.
very much.
Thank you.